So, hi guys, welcome back to Scottish Mixed Martial Arts. I'm Martin Hamilton. I'm joined today by Cage Warriors Bantamweight Reece McEwan. How you doing, Reece?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am all good. Is that starting to feel real now? The mere people that are saying it, like Cage Warriors Bantamweight.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I thought about and visualised for a long time, and now that I'm here, now that that's kind of the title, it feels right.
Because it's been a while since we last spoke. The last time we spoke was just after the Westwood fight. So a lot's happened since then. Obviously, as you've mentioned, you were signed by Cage Warriors. So we'll take a wee step back and we'll just ask you, like, how did that whole process come along? Like being approached by Cage Warriors and then securing the deal with Cage Warriors?
Well, if you go back a wee bit, when I lost my last fight, I then signed with a management company, SuckerPunch, and yeah, they just told me that they asked me what my goals were, and I told them what my goals were, and they said, "Okay, great," and they said, "Look, Cage Warriors have got a show. They'll have a show on either April 1st or April 2nd. We'll look to get you on that." And then they sent me a fight and said, "Look, April 2nd, fighting Sam Spencer." Um, Obviously you up for it, and I was like, yeah, definitely. They were like, right, okay, great, so we've got that fight and we've got a 5 fight contract for you as well, if it's something that you're interested in. And I was like, absolutely, of course. So yeah, when that came about, I signed that, and kind of the dreams and goals started to become a bit more real, and then you make more. I started to make different goals at that point.
Yeah. And that seems like the beautiful thing about Cage Warriors as well, because usually like guys would see a loss as like a step back in their career
Yeah.
sort of idea and where they go next. So sometimes that loss can define that. But I think Cage Warriors seem to look at the fights rather than the results and go, look, this was two of the best bantamweights in the United Kingdom fighting against each other. But that fight could happen 10 times and you could get 10 different results. You could get 8 different results. It could go a different way every time. So it was great to see that they actually kind of looked at the fight, looked at the dynamics of the fight, the opponent, and still took that chance, because you just see it too often that a loss sets someone back 3 squares.
Yeah, like when you're fighting as well, like I always say, like you're a microsecond away from like danger at all times. Like the best person doesn't always win, and again, it's fighting, it's competition. Like people are going to win, people are going to lose. That's just the nature of the beast. And the thing is as well, it's not to overanalyze that performance, but right, I fought on a Sunday night and I lost. What happens if it was a Saturday night? Does that mean I'm going to fight better on a Saturday? Like, there's so many variables that you can look into in a fight. You could have the best fight camp of the world and then wake up on the day of the fight and not feel too good. Have a bug, have a stomach bug, have a headache, or maybe you injure yourself 2 days before the fight. Like, so many things that can happen. So you can't just look. One performance in one fight does not dictate someone's career at all. And from a fighter's point of view, you can't let that dictate yourself from a win and a loss.
I think you hit the nail on the head, and I don't think it is over analysing. I think that's something that needs to be more spoke about enough, because, like as you said, it's not always the best guy that wins on the night. It's not. It's so many variables. It can be something so simplistic, like you've had a shite night's sleep the night before, because like you'll know better than anyone. Like it's one day in training, you're absolutely flying, and you feel like you could take on the world, and then like maybe the next time you're in training, maybe you've had a poor night's sleep that night, or you've had something to eat during the day that's no fully agreed with your body, and then when you go to that training session, you feel sluggish. That's the exact same with a fight. Like so many of those variables can impact the performance on the night. So the more that this is kind of spoken about, the better, because I feel a lot. This was something I was sorry, we're going off on a bit of a tangent here, but I felt this is something that's been coming up a lot. That it's just that guy. It's like MMA math. Like MMA math is impossible to do. But just because someone beats someone doesn't mean they're the better fighter. There's, as you said, it's so many minute details on the night, so many minute details in a fight sequence. It could just be the classic, like you zigged when you should have zagged, and it makes what I'm trying to say is that shouldn't define where someone goes in the next stage of their career, because you won't always fight guys that look Westwood. Like there's guys, possibly even in Cage Warriors, that aren't at the level of Luke Westwood, and that's not a knock on anyone. That's just how how advanced the professional scene regionally has become over the last few years. Like, some of the guys in the scene at the moment are fantastic.
Yeah, man, like that night wasn't my night, and that's as simple as that. Look at Charles Oliveira. I think Anthony Pettis has got better grappling than Charles Oliveira. No, but Anthony Pettis tapped him out in a fight like 5, 6, a couple of years ago. Think he's going to do that now? No, like it's just like different times, and like in hindsight, I'm not glad that I've got a loss in my record, but you know what, like it hurt and all the pain that came with that and the learning. Every fight's an experience. At the end of the day, you're going to learn from it. Sometimes it's your night and it's a great night and you win. Sometimes maybe you get a lucky decision, like sometimes, and then there's times when it's just not your night and you physically can't pinpoint why it wasn't your night. I can pinpoint why it wasn't my night. I made mistakes that I was a lot better than, but at the end of the day, that was November. I've moved on, so that's how the Cage Warriors opportunity came about. And like I said, I dusted myself off, went on, performed at a massive stage, and got my first Cage Warriors fight, first Cage Warriors win, and now I'm on to my second.
No, absolutely, and we'll take that wee step forward. Like, and how did you feel the fight with Sam Spencer went? Because like being there in the crowd, it was like being in a roller coaster. Like, 1 minute the fight was up, 1 minute the fight was down, and it was such a good fight, and that's the reason that you ended up getting performance of the. It was performance of the night that you were
that's it.
By Dan Hardy, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, the fight, like, to analyse the fight, I had an excellent first round, not so good second round, and then I came back and had a good third round. But again, like it's a fight at the end of the day. Like I made some mistakes. I'd done some good things. It was an experience. I had a lot of information. It ticked all the boxes, that fight. It genuinely did. Like I said, most importantly, I won. Right, I'd done some things that I know I'm capable of, and then I made some mistakes which I know I'm way better than. But at the end of the day, like, it's not mistakes that I'm not aware of. It's just mistakes that I happened to make in that fight. Like, I had a superb first round, and I thought, this is going to be easy, right? And I went in and had the worst round of my career, and he went in and had the best round of his career. I didn't treat that like a new round. I just thought, I'm going to walk over this guy. That was a doddle. I didn't expect any resistance or anything. Went out, got caught with a pure stiff jab, and I was like, oh, right, okay then. And luckily, I had time to come back from that. And then the third round, it was like almost like switch back on, like, and then it was getting that finish again. A fight where I was like, I need to get this finish, and I did. So yeah, like I said, there's so much that I've taken away from that fight, and I've addressed everything, to be honest, for this fight.
And that was the thing as well. Like, as you said, it was the perfect fight to analyse, because there was a lot of things that you done really well, and there was a lot of things that I'm sure that you've seen, especially in the second round, that you would take and learn from. But I was just kind of wondering as well. Let's see, after that, having that high of the first round, sorry, and then how the second round went. What was it your coaches said to you in the corner that got you out like guns blazing for the third round?
See, to be honest, that's actually the first fight. I don't remember any of my advice being in the corner. I remember everything in the fight, to be honest. It was all so clear. I remember first going into the second, I remember saying, I'm going to finish it this round. I was overconfident. Like, that's it. I won't make that mistake again. And I know I'm better than making that mistake. But I still made it. And then going into the third round, I just basically had that internal dialogue conversation with myself where it was like, how much do you want this, Reece? Like, because see, if you want this as much as you think you do, then you need to go out and get a finish. And it was all heart and grit and determination. Like, I know if I shoot for a takedown in this round, I'm going to need to chain my wrestling together. The first round, it was just like double boom done. And then I stupidly made that mistake where I thought, right, okay, that's going to happen again. But it never. So then the third round, I thought, when I do take him down and I go for that takedown, I need to chain it. And I did. I went double leg, single leg, got him against the fence, got the body lock, took his back, and that I controlled the rest of the round from there. So again, it was all like internal, like grit and determination, and then trusting my skill set that I'd be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the proof was in the pudding that you ended up getting the result, and it just seemed like the cherry on top that you then got is it 2,500 crypto bonus you get from Cage Warriors now?
Yeah, it was like a $2,000 fee, like a bonus payment in Ethereum. So it's not worth $2,000 anymore, but it was at the time.
might be worth 3,000 in a couple of weeks. Who knows the way the crypto market's going? But that just that must have just been like amazing for you, that because that night, especially that night on Cage Warriors, was chaos. I think there was only maybe one decision the whole night, but it was potentially one of the best cards I've ever seen. It's the best card I've ever seen live. So to get that kind of bonus, that just kind of especially for someone like Dan Hardy, like the way Dan Hardy analyses fights, the way he breaks fights down, like he is one of the best minds in the UK. Like, so just to get that kind of no gratification, because I don't feel that you need that, but that kind of push for them, just going, look, there you go, you've been the best guy on a night that was absolute chaos.
Definitely. When I finished, I took my gumshoe out, walked over to the commentary booth, like, I want that bonus. But it's just funny. It's funny where your head's at. But no, definitely, like, I've been on. I've not kept it quiet. I wanted to get Cage Warriors is the best show in Europe, right? So I've not been shy in saying that that's where I want to go. And then when I got there, I was like, right, okay, cool, on to the next fight. So then when I was there, I've been like basically pestering him like and saying my whole career, like, I want to be there, I'm going to be there, this is where I feel I belong. So then that's why when I was there, I was like, I want to get a finish, I want to make a statement, and getting the performance tonight, that made everything come true, like as if like everything was worthwhile. I was worthy to sign. Like I told you, as soon as you sign me here, just give me my chance and I'll take it with open arms. And then now, naturally, as a competitor, I'm like, right, the next step is now the 22nd of July. That's in the past now. I've taken all that experience. I've taken all that information. I've gathered it. And now, like, step 2 is the 22nd of July against Kingsley Crawford.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like the last thing I kind of wanted to ask you about the Sam Spencer fight was who made the song choice? Because that was a bit bold. Like you're going into his hometown of Manchester and you came out to Oasis. But
that was me. I love Oasis, to be honest, and I've always wanted to. I always like Oasis is the only band that I know that I can really sing along to, like word for word in the lyrics. So I always had this song that I came out to when I started training. I never changed my song, and then when I fought Luke Westwood, I was like, do you know what? I'm not really feeling that song anymore. I could do a wee change, and then. Right, so then I was like, right, well, I'm not really sure what I'm going to change it to or if I'm going to change it. And then my fight obviously got made official for Manchester, and I thought, what better way to change it than an Oasis song? And it came down to, I put in Oasis like greatest hits, and I thought, I'm going to play this song, like this playlist, and whatever song I get a feeling from, and that's going to be my song. And it was between Supersonic and Live Forever. And Live Forever is a bit sad, like, so it was Supersonic, and again, it just made me nice and calm, made me relaxed, and I sang it my whole way in there. Like, got me right in the zone. So that's everything. It was like massive Oasis fan, Liam Gallagher fan as well.
No, absolutely. And I think, see, especially on the night, to get the kind of crowd on your side, that was one of the best moves you could have made, because something like that, it can go one or two ways. But when you came out to that, it was at the place absolutely erupted. I know you had brought like what felt like 4,000 fans yourself, but you had packed that wee corner out. But no, it was just like the whole place kind of caught onto the vibe. I think the whole place had they kind of bought into what you were selling, sort of idea. They bought into the whole kind of experience on the night, and that was one of the best things to see, that the reception you got as you walked out, because as I said, it can go one or two ways when you're fighting a hometown boy.
Yeah, no, it was definitely it was a good night, like very good night.
But as you were saying, your next fight's up against Kingsley Crawford, who's a Cage Warriors vet. He's 8-3 as a professional fighter. Like, how do you see that fight going?
With my hand, I see my hand getting range at the end of the fight. To be honest, it's a good fight for me. He's definitely up the top of the division, and yeah, it's an exciting fight for me. It's a fight that I wanted, and it's a fight that I got. So, I see me winning the fight. That's how I see it going. In all aspects. To be pretty honest, I'm preparing to dominate the fight like I always am. I'll never change my approach. Don't care who the opponent is. I'm looking to like dominate in every way possible and go in there and win and make a statement.
No, absolutely, and as you said, it is a great opponent because he's a big name, and he's fought kind of the big names in the division as well. Like he's fought the likes of Aidan Stevens, he's fought the likes of James Hendon, he's fought what kind of big he has fought the big names, and he's been around a while. So it's a guy who's experienced. It's a guy who's kind of rubbed shoulders with the best. So it's that gives you your kind of platform to shine as well. Because like when you went in and fought Sam Spencer, a lot of people had the question marks round about his kind of layoff period as well, because he'd been out for 3 years, and that must have been difficult for you to prepare for. Like as you mentioned earlier, your change from November until now has been huge. So like the difference that someone can make in 3 years as well can be huge. So how difficult, like just to come back to Sam Spencer, like how difficult was that to prepare for?
It wasn't even so much the preparations. Like, yeah, obviously every fighter has their habits and tendencies at the end of the day, and see the more experienced somebody is, the stronger their tendencies and habits seem to be. Like, so I knew what I was preparing for with Sam, but the only difficult thing was in the fight was trying to. It's all right preparing for like somebody's timing and range and all that, but yeah, when you're in a fight, that's the only time you're actually going to get it. Sometimes they're better than you thought, or sometimes they're not as good, or sometimes they're not as good as you prepared for. But it was just finding that range, like because that first round I had with him, I took him down within the first 30 seconds, and the whole fight was me on top. So again, that's not really me getting time to find his range or find his timing and find his speed. So then the second round, and when that happened in the second round, I only had 5 minutes basically to figure that out, and it was either do I sit in another 5 minutes try to figure out how to figure like that. I spent this 5 minutes trying to figure out this timing and this whatever, or do I make a fight IQ decision and take him down and like bypass that, and that's what I've done.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense, and I think that will provide a lot of clarity to people who watched your last performance as well, and it will kind of piece together how the fight kind of went on the night, and that's hugely important. But as a part of this fight camp, like I noticed you done it for bits of the last one as well. That you've been down to Shore MMA, training with the likes of Jack Shore. How's that been going for you?
Yeah, it was superb. I went there about maybe 6 weeks ago for a week, and then I went last week for nearly 10 days. So that was superb. Like, I can't thank all the guys enough, guys and girls enough, because it's an amazing team that they've got down in Wales. And again, learning from the best in the world, like Brett Johns and Jack Shore, or you couldn't really ask for two better bantamweights to learn from, to be honest, in the same room as well. The training there was absolutely incredible, and again, the whole team there made me feel at home. So they're brilliant people and top training.
Absolutely, because we've literally just seen the impact that the amateurs had at the IMMAF Four Nations tournament. But
Yeah, that's right.
they done really well down there, and that's just the amateurs. Some of the
They've got an amazing team from top to bottom. Like seriously amazing team. Like the whole level of the gym is extremely high level. And like I said, like they're amazing people as well, which is like cherry on the top of the cake.
and it must be good for you as well to have different looks and different kind of training partners, because obviously you've been at the Grip House for a long while now, so it's kind of, when you're training with the same people, it can become not quite repetitive because obviously
No,
everyone's
it can like you can train with someone who like the thing about like going to Shore MMA, like you're out of your comfort zone, like you're training with people for the first time. Like I could train with someone who is much better than me, right? But I'm used to their style, so it gives a false sense of reality. Like not that you're doing well, because it's not like that, but like I'm doing well against somebody who on paper I've got no right of doing well against, but it's because I'm used to their style and I've trained for that style. So then, or sometimes you and someone else can have the same round every single week. And at the end of the day, like I'm in the Grip House or I'm in Everclyde Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu every day and night. So it's where I'm comfortable. You take yourself out your comfort zone, and then like I done that 6 weeks ago, and then I done it last week. So then you become more comfortable being uncomfortable. You apply that to being in a fight. How are you in your comfort zone? You've not been in that cage for a few months. You're not. Nobody's in a comfort zone there. At the end of the day, it's very hard to replicate that feeling of nerves and making weight and all that. Like there's so many things that go around about the fight that you physically can't replicate. You can think about it in your head, but you're still at your comfort zone, and that going elsewhere allows me to get that training outside my comfort zone, train with new bodies, train with different people, and it's got a lot of benefits for me.
No, absolutely. And just the last question for you, Reece, and we'll kind of take a bit of a sidestep for MMA, because although like you're like excelling at the moment in the field of mixed martial arts, you're also kind of creating your own franchise as well. Like, you've got Connor Toom, you've been doing your coffee, you've been doing your food rubs and stuff like that as well. So how important is that for fighters that when they're at that kind of that place in their mixed martial arts journey, that they've got the kind of platform that you've got, to kind of use that to branch into other markets as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like from my point of view, like I probably, like a lot of fighters maybe won't see like the long term, like bigger picture, and like maybe having a business at say, because you're so focused on like one thing, or you're focused on being the best at fighter you can all the time, and it's a full-time job, it's 24 hours, it's a complete obsession. Like it has to be that way. You can't have any distractions. Like out with fight preparations, I do a wee bit of coaching and stuff, but when a fight comes, like I don't do any of that. I don't, like, there's no distractions at all. It's all strictly business. But like I said, it was the co-founder of Connor Toom, Grant Roxton, who sponsors me through his own business, his digital marketing business, Boy Digital, who said like it's smart to put businesses like that in place now, and then it will snowball down the line. Like it might not get my full attention at the moment. Maybe it gets 5% or whatever percent, small percent of my time on a weekly basis, but you don't know what it's going to be in 5, 10, 15 years time. Like you're just kind of planting that seed right now, and luckily it's doing really well. And like, again, it's not like Herbalife I'm selling here. It's like good coffee and good food seasoning rubs, and again, it's not like something that's random. It's like putting fighting principles and training principles into a brand, and then it's like it's just part of me that comes with it, you know. So it's obviously important from a long-term perspective, but again, it's a big shout out to Grant, who has that outside view, looking in, putting things in place to look after me. And that's why it's really important to have a strong group of people around you who are trying to build you up, and put, like in this instance, put things in place for down the line when you retire and you're like, right, you can fall back on this. You already established this brand over the last 10 years. Now it's time for you to retire. You can put your time into that, or like you can put your time into coaching, and you can fall back on it when the time comes. The time's not now, but it's a long-term decision.
No, absolutely, and that's amazing to hear, and it's amazing to hear the kind of steps being put in place already for when you hit your full potential. Because I kind of fully believe that you've only hit like a small percent of where you're going to go, and the amount of people that are going to follow you in even 2 years' time is going to be massive compared to where you are now. And it's that way as well, like you said, it's not some niche that you're designing. Like, you're not designing Herbalife, you're not designing some kind of bollocks whiskey. It's something that every person uses. Like every person, well, not to generalise, but most people drink coffee and everyone eats food. It's not like something designed specifically for athletes, because I drink your coffee all the time, and I can vouch for it. It is amazing. I've not tried the food rubs right enough, but I just wanted to say for like the last part that since we last spoke, you've been promoted as well in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, I'm a brown belt now.
How's that feeling?
It feels weird. Like, I'll be honest. Like, see, when I was like a white belt, blue belt, and you're looking for that next promotion, you'd be like, yeah, I guess you can say this now. Like, maybe you would tap a blue belt or a purple belt, or like beat somebody in a competition and maybe get a promotion, and you would still be in that belt behind, and you'd be like, when am I getting my blue belt? When am I getting my purple belt? And you'd be chasing that. Whereas a brown belt and a black belt is quite a scary step up, in the sense that, like, when you're training, you just see these brown belts. Like my coach, Ian Martin, was a brown belt for a long time. Although he was wearing a brown belt, it was a black belt the whole time, right? But he was a brown belt. So in my head, what a brown belt was his level. So I always thought, I'm nowhere near that, right? See that jump from purple to brown. Don't even mention it to me, right? And when I got it, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I've got that belt now. But it's amazing. Like, on a serious note, it is genuinely amazing, because see, when you get a promotion, it's like, it is a bit of recognition for your hard work, and it does carry its own, like, I need to represent this belt now. I need to represent this skill level. I need to up the gear a wee bit, because naturally, like, you've been given something. Like, you've been given that promotion for a reason. So it's because your coaches and the people around you believe you're at that level, and the reality is you're probably that level for a long time. So yeah, it feels incredible, to be honest. One step away from the big black belt.
No, and that's it. You've hit the nail on the head there. Like what you were saying about your coach Ian Gilmartin that runs Brazilian Inverclyde Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, he had to walk through the fire to get up the levels in the black belts. So he'll make sure his students kind of go through, like, that no one's given a belt in that gym. It's earned.
Yeah, no.
Like, do you know what I mean? So
I got promoted. Alongside one of a good friends and sponsor, Davey, who runs a scaffolding company, DMAT Scaffolding. And even like when I was a white belt, I was like, and he was a white belt at the time, I was like, I can't believe I shouldn't wear a belt, because if he's a white belt, I ain't a belt. And then when I got my blue belt, I was the same. When I got my purple belt, I was like, I can't believe we're the same belt. And then now we got promoted to brown on the same day. I'm like, Dave, this can't be happening. There's you and there's me and there's you. Like, so it's just like incredible. Like, to be honest.
No, and absolutely, and it's amazing. It's amazing to see what you're doing, and it's amazing to see what the team are doing. It's special, like over at the Grip House, over at Inverclyde Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, across Scottish mixed martial arts at the moment, because Scottish mixed martial arts is absolutely booming, and it's guys like yourself that are, like, leading the flag for the country. And I just a wee quick question before we wrap up, because I know you're very busy, but what do you think the chances are is getting a Cage Warriors in Scotland soon?
Very low, to be honest. I just logistically, this, I just know from conversations that I've had, logistically it just doesn't make sense. Like in Scotland, it's really only the hydro that they can do, and that's not happening. The UFC going to the hydro is like a big thing. Do you know what I mean? I don't even think, see, if Bellator went to hydro, I don't even think they would sell it out. So
yeah,
I think it'd just be extremely hard. Like, never say never, but I know that logistically it's a difficult thing. I would love for it to happen, but logistically it is difficult.
Reece, is there any last points, shout outs you want to make before we wrap it up?
Just as always, like, a huge shout out to, like, everyone who supports me, like, who's coming down to watch the fight, who sends me any messages, like text message on social media, everyone for their support, all my sponsors. If you go onto my website, reecemcEwan.com, you'll see all my sponsors, and not only just see them, but you'll have access to their websites, their services. So that means that you can go on and see for yourself and have a wee look. They're on my Instagram bio as well. And yeah, like, I just shout out to yourself for giving me the interview, and for everyone who's watched so far.
You know, you've had it big when you've got your own website, man.
I've had that for a couple of years, to be fair, but yeah, like, no, the website's good. It's like a good wee home base. I don't think I've actually updated it. I think I'm still technically T&O on that one, but it's all good. It's fine. People can go on my topology and see it. And yeah, shout out if you're love coffee, I love cooking, go and hit up Connor Toolm on Instagram or on their website, and a wee business plug, and you can go and check us out. And if you watch the interview, drop me a wee DM, and I'll give you a wee discount for watching the interview, and if you want to buy any of the goods.
Well, brilliant, and as always, Reece, thanks for your time. It's hugely appreciated, because we know how busy you are, especially during fight camp, so it's hugely appreciated, so thanks.
No, thank you very much. Thanks for your time, mate. Thank you.
And thanks very much for listening at home, guys. Bye.